Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm really glad to have you guys here this morning. Now, first thing we want to do is I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to open up the charts and talk about a subject right here. Open the charts. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is this right here. Trump, now you guys heard about the Boeing problem with the Boeing aircraft, how they got some sort of a software problem, and it actually caused a crash of the Boeing, and now this is huge stigma surrounding these Boeing aircraft, Nobody wants to fly on them. Everybody's scared. Well, I'll tell you what. A couple months ago, I flew on one of these, across the Atlantic, no less. Now, when you're crossing the Atlantic, it's dangerous. I'm going to tell you why. Because when you're halfway across the Atlantic, do you know how cold the water is in the Atlantic? Especially in the wintertime when I flew. If the airplane goes down into the Atlantic, anywhere into the Atlantic, there's not they put these safety equipment on the airplane. They got these air masks that dangle down from the top, and they got different things, safety gear on it. They got a little inflatable life vest or whatever, They ain't going to help you in the cold Atlantic. Your survival in the cold Atlantic is going to be about 3 minutes. That's it. It's like picture in the summertime when you're nice and warm, if you were to be dunked into a swimming pool full of ice cubes. That's the Atlantic, okay? So I crossed the Atlantic in one of these 737s. Beautiful aircraft. Functioned perfectly. And all of these 737s are beautiful aircraft. Now, I'm going to tell you what. Trump is very intelligent. This is what they should do. Rebrand them. How much would it cost to go out there? They're just stickers on the side of the airplane anyway, To peel the stickers off and stick on a different number. It costs Boeing very little. Then what they really need to do is work on these computers, and put a manual override on the computer so that the pilot can take control manually. A manual override on the computer. That's what they need to do. Because these are perfectly good aircraft. These aircraft function beautifully. There's nothing mechanically wrong with these aircraft. These are good aircraft. It's just stupid software is getting in the way. We're relying too much on computers now, We need to scale back, and we need to say to ourselves, hey, you know what? We need to make manual overrides for computers, because we got AI coming in now and everything else. And we need to put manual overrides, not just on airplanes, but on all the computers out there. Need to have a manual override so that you can switch HAL off. You remember HAL in the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey? And he took over, HAL started to take over, and he was crazy. HAL was crazy. He was doing all crazy stuff, and he had to be stopped. And this is the way with these computers. We need to put manual overrides on them so that we can just pull a switch and we can shut that computer down and we can take control ourselves. Because we have a mind. We have an intellect. That stupid computers, they just... listen, have you guys ever been on there? On these automated phone machines, for crying out loud, they got now? And you know how much trouble you got trying to get a real person on there? You're pushing all these buttons, and you got this computer voice on the phone, and it's just, the aggravation. It frustrates you. In the end, you feel like slamming the phone receiver down on the phone, because you just can't get through some of these companies. We need a manual override there too. We need a code word, some sort of code word on all of these telephone systems that have computer animated voice on them. We need some sort of a code word that we can cut right through to an operator. Anyway, there's a lot of problems in the world that need solving, and computers are generating a lot of new problems that we need to solve, But we're moving into this computer age whether we like it or not. So now let's take a look at the silver price today and see what's going on. What we got here today, and the silver price is, she's shooting downwards, but this is a little bit unusual. And I don't expect this to last because, first off, the dollar's lost a bit of strength and the dollar seems to be moving down today. And so the silver price should rebound, but really it's creating a good buying opportunity right now at $14.83. It's down 12 cents on the day. You know, that's quite a little substantial drop, and I'm not exactly sure what's causing that drop today, but maybe they're just smashing it with the paper. They use paper short contracts to lower the price of silver. They flood the market with paper. It's not real silver, it's paper silver. But it lowers the price because the paper silver, the short contracts set the spot price. And the spot price really doesn't have anything to do with the real physical silver. Let's take a look at gold today. You know what I mean by the spot price doesn't have anything to do with the real physical silver? The spot price is set according to all these paper short contracts where they can create as much paper as they want. But what's the real underlying asset? How much is actually available of the real underlying asset? Which actually should set the price is availability of the actual underlying asset. So it's a crazy world we live in, but they've been smashing the price down. They've done it to gold too. Look, $12.82 today, down $6.90. And it's down well under $1,300. I don't like to see this happen, but this is the way it's going. They have total control, but there is a limit. Really, actually, the truth is there's no limit. They could use these paper short contracts to bring the price down on silver to $1 and gold to $100 if they wanted to. You know, quite seriously. But the problem is their game would come to an end shortly thereafter because the mining production would just quit. Basically, the miners would just throw down their tools and go home and shut the mines off. And so about 3 or 4 months later, there'd be no silver and no gold coming into the marketplace. And you know what would happen then? This game would be over because it would expose the racket that they've been running. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin, and we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin price today. Bitcoin's doing rather well today. It was hovering in around just over 5,000, like 5,050 yesterday, 5,040 along in there. It's gained today. It's 5113.63. Which is a gain in price, you know, from yesterday. Not a substantial gain, but probably about a $70 or $80 gain in price. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations. 51.9% Bitcoin dominance and $175.4 billion market cap. With the coins starting to ease upwards again ever so slightly. Litecoin's at 81.26, so it's back above $80 again. Bitcoin's at 51.60, Ethereum's at 166.25, XRP's at 32 cents, 32.6 cents. Bitcoin Cash is at 297.35. Of course, Litecoin I said was 81.26. EOS is $5.47. Binance Coin is $19.74. Stellar is 11.7 cents, and Cardano is 8.3 cents. And Tron is 2.7 cents. I'm going to go down and do Monero and Dash too because I know you guys like these three coins. Monero is 66.39, Dash is 121.68, and IOTA is 31.1 cents. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones for the day. The Dow Jones is dropping today. We're looking at 44 points down on the Dow. Let me refresh the page. Okay, 48.16 down on the Dow. You know, the Dow's been buoyed. They're buoyed right now on hopes for China. Hopes that China's going to come around and do some sort of a trade deal and trade negotiations and all that. But, you know, this market, I think, is ready for a correction. Quite seriously. I think it's ready for a correction. And knowing how the Fed is now, they get nervous. The market just sneezes and they get worried that it's catching a cold. And I'm going to tell you what, any little drop, sizable drop in the market, now I think is going to be responded to with Fed action, actual action by the Fed. They're very nervous about where the market's going. And this is all important to them, and they're going to support this market. I don't think they're going to let this market fall. Like going back a number of months, like 12 months ago, I thought that they would let the market fall to a certain point, and then they would get nervous and they would respond with new quantitative easing and stuff. What they've shown me since then is that they will respond much faster than I ever thought to support this market. It's incredible how quick they'll respond. Now let's take a look at crude oil today. It's down 42 cents on the day. This does not bode well for the Canadian dollar. And you know, there's another thing that I'm keeping my eye on is Turkey right now. Turkey's got problems, big problems, but we're keeping our eye on the Turkish lira. I'm not going to go there in this market report this morning, but if it gets worse, I'll be reporting on it on here. Anyway, let's take a look at U.S. Treasury bonds. What we're looking at, the long end of the yield curve is falling just ever so slightly. The middle end of the yield curve is rising, and the short end of the yield curve is falling ever so slightly. So we got a mixed bag in bonds today. The only part of the yield curve that is not inverted at this point is the U.S. 30-year. All of them have inverted at one point or another, right up to the 30-year. We haven't got an inversion yet in the 30-year, but it could be coming. We're going to have to keep our eye on this too. So now let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index today, and we see the U.S. dollars fell down to 96.87. Not a substantial fall. It's not much under 97, but generally when we get a little drop-off in the dollar, generally gold responds by going up. And, of course, if we go back to gold right now, we can see that there's substantial downward movement in gold today. I haven't really done the research in to find out what could be causing this substantial downwards in the price of gold. But I think that it's unfounded because I think they need more gold more than ever right now in the market climate that we have of uncertainty as a safe haven asset. And investors, they are just not seeing it yet. They're not going to see it until it's too late, and then they all rush in at the same time. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this market report, and we'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye, guys.